Welcome back to the Pierre and Catherine Labatt Softball Complex for the Northeast Delta Dental America East Softball Championship, hosted by the University of Maine. And it is the host team, the University of Maine Black Bears, the number 5 ranked team of the 5 in the field, taking on the 3rd ranked UAlbany Great Danes. Great Danes yesterday lost to the number 4 seed UMass Lowell, who then upended the number 1 seeded Bryant Bulldogs earlier today. But the hometown team hoping to upend and send the Great Danes home early after last time this tournament field occurred at this Pierre and Catherine Labatt Softball Complex. It was the Great Danes who were victorious and punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. UAlbany looking to go on a little bit of a nostalgia run, like you said, 2 years ago, hoisting the hardware at this very complex. They want to keep it a successful stomping ground for them. Meanwhile, UMaine, the dark horse today, they want to step up and show off in front of the home fans and maybe break a couple brackets, Brian.
Well, UAlbany last time here in 2024 did not lose a single game. They went undefeated in the tournament field. This will be a little bit different of a run to the America East Championship game should they make it, but they will have to win this game and then another game for them to even punch their ticket to Friday. But that's what's on the line, the first elimination contest. And why don't we take a look at today's starting pitcher presented by Service Credit Union for the UAlbany Great Danes. It's a name that we're fairly familiar with, but it's number 1, Haley Arakello, who will be out there on the circle for another appearance here in this tournament after pitching yesterday versus the Binghamton Bearcats, but the UMass Lowell Riverhawks.
Haley Arakello, so flexible, so able to be effective in starting appearances, also brilliant in relief. Her 27th overall appearance and 18th start. You see the overall numbers there. Pretty solid, very good for being one of the backup pitching options for this team. Haley Wizerak and Julia Pike both pitched multiple innings in the losing effort yesterday. And oh my.
Actually, it looks like they're going to have a different pitcher out there. It looks like Julia Pike will be the one in the circle here today instead.
That one caught me off guard, Brian.
Well, it's always interesting, too. Sometimes they'll have a pitcher in there and a designated player, and they'll swap them at the beginning. But Julia Pike will be the one in the circle here today. This will be appearance number 9 on the season for her with a 9-4, ninth start, I should say, 9-4 record overall.
Yeah, great work by our graphics team being on the ball there, reacting, rolling with the punches. ERA of sub-4 for Julia Pike this year, and let's not forget that she is a dominant force at the plate, too. Such a dynamic freshman, one of the 2 freshmen on the team, her and Parisi, who have just been fantastic this year. Pike in the circle, so effective. Those numbers, I think, even improve when you get to conference play. 3.32 ERA, 127 whip, 6-2 against America East foes in 9 appearances this season.
And a Maine native in that look at the starting pitcher presented by Service Credit Union, the official credit union of the America East. Fairly similar lineup for the Black Bears in their batting order of Larkin, Adams, Inman, Robles, Guerrera, Hand, Annika Shearer getting the start here today in right field in place of Ree, who was starting there yesterday. Maggie Helms hitting 8th and playing left field, and Morgan Poole rounding out the batting order in the 9th spot as the catcher. First pitch from Pike is swung on and hit to the netting by a dynamic player in Kaylin Larkin, who has just been phenomenal for the Black Bears.
So much pop for this rookie. 33 appearances, 32 starts, 1106 OPS. Just so much slug, so much consistent contact. Takes her walks, too.
And that one's going to be a little high. It'll be a 1-1 count. Pike, the Kennebunk native, very far south in the state of Maine. I would say that Orono's probably closer than Albany in terms of driving distance, but this one misses outside. Orono is not necessarily in close proximity to Kennebunk, Biddeford, any of those southern Maine towns.
Certainly. Very different parts of the state, very different cultures, but also this feel of unity across the Pine Tree State, and a lot of pride living in the state and playing in the state as well.
Pitch low in the strike zone. Beautifully placed there by the UAlbany pitcher, Julia Pike. Maine jumped out on Binghamton early in their contest yesterday afternoon. would then succumb to the offensive onslaught by the Bearcats. No one fouled off in the distance, 2-2 the count.
You said it, Brian. The Black Bears went up 3-0. Did a good job manufacturing offense, scratching runs across. Those 2 RBI doubles by Maggie Helms to start things off, and that was really almost all that the Black Bears would get. Binghamton exploded for 9 runs in a single frame in that game.
This one off the handle, looks to be playable. Casey Kahn, no problem, drifting into shallow right field, and the first out is recorded. Now we see Neve Adams stepping up to the plate for the Black Bears. As we see the defense, Sierra Roy, the battery mate with Pike. Sierra Anderson at the hut corner, Deanna Grayheck. Casey Kahn in the middle infield, Mary Kate Murray at first base. Outfield from left to right, Katie Parisi, Ava Beal, and Taylor Quinn. This one bounced into the turf. Adams looked like she had tweaked her knee at one point, but was able to stay in the contest and complete the 7 innings. It was an awkward play at second base. They actually challenged the ruling on the field, thinking that one of the infielders had obstructed the path for Adams, but the call was not overturned. Up in the miles per hour on that pitch was Pike, peppering the zone, and a 1-1 count now. UAlbany clad in their all-white uniforms with the purple socks with the emblazoned gold trim on the accents of the numbers and letters. This one popped up. Again, shallow right field. Kahn ranging back, and will make the second out of the inning. Black Bears wearing their navy blue uniforms with the white and light Maine blue on the script and numbers. And again, the Black Bears playing in an untraditional dugout than they're used to. It's so weird when a team hosts a tournament and has to go into the opposite dugout than what they're accustomed to, as they're on the first base side today as the away team. First pitch in there. Pop in the glove again is Pike versus Kira Inman, the center fielder for the Black Bears.
You know, sometimes a change of scenery like that can help the stakes sink in that it's tournament time and you got to perform at your highest, or sometimes it can get you off your rhythm. Let's see how the Black Bears respond today.
This one missing high, around eye level. Count 1-1. Pike looks very comfortable out there as a first-year pitcher. In an elimination game, no less. It shows you the trust that head coach Chris Canada, the longest tenured America East coach, currently active, as in the first-year righty.
And players flock to this program because of the expertise that Chris Canada has on display. 32 years with this UAlbany program. Such an effective Division I softball coach, in the top 20 for all-time active coaching wins.
2-1 pitch. Will miss, 3-1. The thing, too, with UAlbany is the staff has just been consistent. When you look at the amount of years that have been logged here, even Kate Gentili, 10th season, so a decade with the program. Joe Reardon, 26th season.
Certainly so much consistency and reliability and loyalty from these coaches, and they all fulfill really different roles in the tutelage of these players.
Full count now after that one hits the inside corner. And there could be some debate on who is the best team in terms of overall program history, but it's hard to not have UAlbany in the conversation of one of the best softball programs in the America East of all time. Payoff pitch as the Black Bears trying to avoid going 1, 2, 3 down in order, and they'll do just that as that one bounces in the turf, and a 2-out walk for Kira Inman.
Well, something to keep an eye on. The Black Bears don't have the most slug in the conference, and they don't hit for the highest average, but they are by far the best team at drawing walks, the most disciplined batting lineup top to bottom in the America East, and just find their way aboard. Sometimes to lead off an inning, sometimes with 2 outs, and now the key is going to be building on that free pass, seeing if you can extract a rally out of Julia Pike here.
And already a circle visit to Coach Kate Gentili comes out into the circle, goes over some management side of things.
Yeah, you mentioned the seasoned coaching staff of UAlbany and the roles they play. Chris Canada, such a like a chess grandmaster out there, just making the calls, calling the shots, and Kate Gentili so brilliant at interfacing with the players. And when UAlbany is on offense, it's Joe Reardon at the third base bag making the calls on who to send home, and just top to bottom, everybody on that staff so strong.
Probably a discussion, too, with Inman at first base, what to do on a throwdown and how to align everything, who's going to take the cover of second base. Inman does lead the team in stolen bases, 7 for 10. Next closest, well, actually, Annika Shearer also has 7, so tied for the team lead on 8 attempts. By composing yourself in the back of the circle. Comes set. Here's the windup in the fire. And a hearty cut from Eviana Robles. But I'm unable to make contact, and the count will be 1-1. Rain not in the forecast today, but some ominous clouds have made their appearance to the ballpark here today. No rain in the forecast until Saturday afternoon in the evening. Some contact as that one will drift off the right side and towards the bullpen on the visitor's side. Should the inning continue, we'd see Francesca Guerrera, the second baseman, up. Robles, a sophomore, to another sophomore, both playing in the middle infield for the Black Bears. This will hit towards the right side. Will it stay fair? No. Just to the right side of the line.
Those can be some of the most contentious calls on the softball diamond. The PTZ unmanned cameras here can give you a lot of good looks on video reviews. That one did touchdown foul. Great call.
That was Nathan Nagel down the first baseline. An eagle-eye view, made the correct call. And what an effort, too, for Taylor Quinn, laying her body on the line trying to catch that.
And the stakes are always so high on those kinds of calls as well, because the angles here that the umpires have at their disposal do not give a great shot down that line. So it's pretty much an all-or-nothing moment for the umpire, and did a good job to come up there, make the right decision.
Thomas Oliver behind home plate. Nathan Nagel down the first baseline. And our home plate umpire for game number 1, Stan Abramovich, now at third base. Another one fouled off. In on the hands versus Robles that time. Pitch count not necessarily a huge worry in the game of softball, but that is pitch number 20 for the first year, Julia Pike. This one might find some, no, it'll slice again, this time left off the right-hander's bat. Wasn't the best contact, but looked like it could be destined for some trouble. But Robles hoping to straighten it out a little bit on the next one that clangs off the bat.
These Great Danes looked relatively dominant in the regular season series against the Black Bears. Julia Pike, a big part of that offensively and in the circle. 6 scoreless innings on May 1st.
Back up the middle. Grayheck can't get on the bag before Inman. And the Black Bears' first base hit. Now as a runner in scoring position, Inman on her horse and got there before the step on the bag.
Grayheck tapping the ears like she wants her coaching staff to call for a video review. Slow roller. So cool-headed at the shortstop position. Real close. Ooh, stepped on her toe. And it's going to be hard to overturn that. I doubt that the coaching staff is going to call for a replay review.
Well, the Maine Binghamton game yesterday, I think, had, 4 replay reviews?
Number of them throughout this whole tournament, and you got to appreciate the diligence that these umpiring crews are going to be thorough and make sure they get the right call in these close situations.
Here's Francesca Guerrera. Takes the first pitch low, shin level. And this is what the Black Bears normally have done in the last handful of seasons. The America East tournament, they come in as underdogs, and they're able to be scrappy in the early innings, specifically on offense. Nice pitch right over the knees by Pike.
Guerrera 2 for 10 in the regular season series against UAlbany, and someone who bat leadoff pretty much all year for the Black Bears. And head coach Kimberly Stiles and her assistant Mackenzie Byer working together and decide that she should bat 5th today.
This one inside, 2-1 now the count. Inman at second base, Robles at first. Guerrera at home plate in the right-handed batter's box. Outfield playing no doubles defense currently. Right back up the middle, and that could plate Inman. She comes rounding third. The throw goes to third instead. And Robles is out at third, but the run does score. An RBI base hit gives the Black Bears the lead as we head to the bottom of the first. It's Maine 1, UAlbany nothing, and the Northeast Delta Dental American East Softball Championship.
At Northeast Delta Dental, we love to see people smile. And as the leading provider of quality dental coverage for Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, we're committed to helping entire communities smile. Whether it's through education, supporting our veterans, or giving and volunteering, we're helping to make our communities even stronger. Learn more about Northeast Delta Dental at nedelta.com. We think you'll find a lot to smile about.
At Service Credit Union, we believe that your life is a story. And like most stories, every chapter brings something different. A new adventure, a new calling, a new hero, and even a new beginning. No matter what page you're on, we'll be with you. Service Credit Union.
At the break of dawn, our conference awakens, and champions will rise, pulsing like a battle drum, steady and unyielding, ready to face any challenge through grit and resolve. Out here rises the heart of the tenacious, fueled by conviction and driven by commitment to team and alma mater. This is our battle cry that rings out through the generations. The sun rises in the east, so does our march towards greatness, which has only just begun. This is the America East.
Bottom of the first inning, and let's take a look at today's starting pitcher for Maine, presented by Service Credit Union. Ava Zettelmoyer, who started the game versus Binghamton yesterday, and that actually came in relief of herself as well later on in the contest. Will be trying to keep the UAlbany Great Danes from barking up too many runs.
Just the 9th start of the year for Zettelmoyer. In her long Black Bear tenure, has been used mostly as a relief pitcher. And you see the numbers there. You can come to your own conclusions about them, but had 2 outings in the regular season series against UAlbany, including making one of those 8 starts this season on May 1st.
Service Credit Union, the official credit union of the America East. Leadoff hitter is Taylor Quinn. I think .325 with 2 home runs, 25 runs batted in. Playing right field today for the Great Danes.
In that May 1st outing against UAlbany, Ava Zettelmoyer went 7 complete frames, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts.
Inside pitch. Had Quinn ducking in her shoulder and elbow, but it's a called strike nonetheless to even the count at 1-1.
And to put together an outing like that when you've had struggles on the year, you put together a complete 7 with 1 run, and you still get stuck with the loss. Just so frustrating. And Zettelmoyer wants to come out and get a little bit of revenge, perhaps, for what occurred in that game. A 1-0 regular season loss on May 1st for the Black Bears.
Zettelmoyer now working with a 2-1 count. As this one hit into right field, it's going to one hop, knocked down by Shearer. The throw into second base, not in time. The wheels shown on display by Taylor Quinn. And a leadoff double starts the offense for the Great Danes.
Very hard to beat Taylor Quinn as far as leadoff hitters are concerned. So prolific at putting bat to ball. Very patient, waits for her pitch, and the wheels are almost unparalleled. So fleet of foot. And in with a leadoff double, Shearer dove out in right field, nearly let it get past her, but did a good job to knock it down. If she could have gotten a little more mustard behind that throw, maybe she could have stolen a leadoff out here.
Anderson hitting second, already in the batter's box as Zettelmoyer looks over for the sign to the first base dugout. This one misses high. So we saw the leadoff hitter, Taylor Quinn, followed by Sarah Anderson. In the 3 spot today, playing left field is Katie Parisi. Mary-Kate Murray playing first base and hitting cleanup. Deanna Grayheck hitting fifth, followed by Sierra Roy and catching. This one back up the middle. We'll keep that in mind. This one fielded cleanly. Inman, and they'll hold the runner, and Quinn at third base. Runners on the corner, still no one out. Back-to-back base knocks for the UAlbany Great Danes.
Assistant coach Joe Reardon threw up the stop sign big time for Taylor Quinn, and that's one of the fastest runners in the conference. Goes to show you the respect that he has for the rocket arm of Kira Inman out in center field. Would have been a very close play had they been able to relay it to the plate, but they decide to play it safe. At least Coach Reardon does. Runners on the corners here, nobody out. Maybe we'll see some base running trickery from UAlbany. We've seen a lot of that in these runners on the corner situations in America East play this season.
And that's probably the reason for the circle visit right now, is want to make sure we go and have everything aligned, if you're our Maine side, to make sure that if the double steal does occur, how you're going to play this one. 1-0 lead for the Black Bears currently.
Now batting the left fielder, number 3.
As here's Katie Parisi, who set the doubles record in the conference yesterday. On a phenomenal performance, which she's akin to producing every single time at the Diamond.
One of the best rookies at this level of softball. Such a great representative of UAlbany and of the America East at large.
Infield is in for the Black Bears. This one inside, but a strike. The zone for Thomas Oliver versus a right-handed batter seems to favor the pitcher. You get a little tight into the hitter. But he's been consistent in the early stages of this one. It's a test of a true great umpire. This one misses high on the off-speed pitch. First baseman Mary-Kate Murray in the on-deck circle here for the Great Danes. Chomping at the bit after her teammate, Katie Parisi, has her cuts, but has yet to swing the bat yet on 3 pitches and has a favorable 2-1 count. Maine middle infield has back now into a double play situation and positioning. Swing and a miss as Parisi with a hearty cut, but comes up empty.
Yeah, that's a nice pitch from Zettelmoyer. Parisi had visions of, at the very least, adding to that single-season doubles record, and some deceptive dip on that delivery, and run it to 2-2 here.
Runners on the corner still. Quinn at third. Called strike 3. It's an emphatic punch out by our home plate umpire, Thomas Oliver, and a big first out for Ava Zettelmoyer and the Black Bears.
Yeah, that's a feather in the cap of Zettelmoyer, and also a crucial out. Imperative that the Black Bears got one harmlessly there. And if they can retire Mary-Kate Murray here also in a harmless fashion, then they'll eliminate the sacrifice possibility. But that is much easier said than done.
Anderson still at first base. Takes a very large secondary lead, then retreats back to the first base bag on the first pitch of this at-bat to Murray that misses the zone. Look at the statistics. An impressive 362 batting average for Murray with 5 home runs. Jess gets a piece of that one and also got a piece of Morgan Poole behind home plate.
Mary-Kate Murray, the all-conference first-team first baseman for a reason. Hits very well, fields her position effectively, and in the cleanup spot of Chris Canada's order all season long.
A lot of people were expecting UAlbany to make it to the championship game, maybe out of the winner's side of the bracket. Heels right now on the edge of elimination. Well, right now they're in a great position, though, trailing 1-0 in the first inning versus Maine. Runner at third base, runner at first base right now, and just one down. 2-1 pitch to Murray, misses outside, 3-1 now. Black Bears softball team, seemingly their offense is in a good direction. They were just hoping to get a little bit more pitching production in the conference slate. Had a couple good contributions. This one grounded towards the left side and out past the outstretched glove of Robles. The game will be tied on the RBI single by Mary-Kate Murray. And now 2 runners on with 1 down in the bottom of the first.
Nice little piece of hitting here. Compact swing by Murray, quick to the ball. Punches it into the turf. And it did the rest, rolling into the outfield where Helms had no opportunity to cut down the run.
Robles gave a full effort, though, even if she came up with that ball in her glove, likely unable to get the runner coming in from third base or Mary-Kate Murray at first. This one misses outside to Deanna Grayheck, the shortstop. .269 batting average for Grayheck with 14 runs batted in. But he's an excellent defensive shortstop like we've seen throughout, too. A lot of great infielders and outfielders. This one right back up the middle. Zettelmoyer knocks it down, but unable to do anything as Robles comes and helps out. But the bases are now loaded with Great Danes.
The hit parade rolls on for UAlbany. Nice slap by Grayheck. Zettelmoyer thought she could have speared that one out of the air. Unfortunately for her, trickles off the glove, and UAlbany goes station to station, nowhere to put Sierra Roy.
Quick discussion here. Zettelmoyer will go back in the circle again. Conversation with Neve Adams as well. As Sierra Roy stepping up to the plate. And every player's fantasy growing up as a kid. If you ever dreamed of being a hitter, you always wanted to be in a situation with the bases loaded. And that's exactly what Sierra Roy has on the table. Anderson at third base. Mary-Kate Murray at second. Deanna Grayheck at first. 1 run already in the form of Taylor Quinn, and just 1 down. Roy can break this game open early on with 1 swing of the bat. Missing outside. Not a bad pitch by Zettelmoyer, but not enough to entice her home plate umpire in calling it a strike. Eva can't dwell on that call not being a strike, though. The 2-0 count, favorable hitter's count. And just a piece of it ranging out of play is that batted ball.
Good thing those little awnings are up to protect the creative staff in attendance.
Yeah.
We don't want them getting a concussion while their noses are buried in Photoshop.
Yeah, heaven forbid Simon French, now taking some photos, got hit. Again, kudos to Simon for running the camera in game number 1 for us on the first base side. Now back to his normal duties with the University of Maine. Back of the action at hand, 2-2 after multiple foul balls by Sierra Roy. Heightening the drama as Maine's infield right aligned with the base paths currently. In, but not aggressively in at the moment. Down the third base line, but left of the line. And will be a foul ball. Now, Mary-Kate Murray was on her horse, though. She was already at third base by the time it was in the glove of Neve Adams.
Off with the pitch, maybe a little hit and run action on, or just getting a secondary lead there at the second base bag, Mary-Kate Murray, because she's not being held on, infield playing in.
This one hit towards the second baseman. Guerrera over to home. They get the put out there. Perfectly executed by Guerrera and the Black Bears to cut down the lead runner and keep the game tied at 1.
Well, if this game stays close, Brian, you need to bookmark that moment right there. It was imperative that Guerrera ranged to her left and threw that dart into the glove of Morgan Poole. If the Black Bears wanted to prevent a rally, any hitch there, any mistake could cause an immediate unraveling for Maine.
Yeah, it's perfectly executed. You have to make that play exceedingly clean. And that was exactly the case by the Black Bears second baseman, Francesca Guerrera. And now this pitch missing inside to Julia Pike.
We're not at volcanic levels yet in this half inning in terms of the explosiveness from UAlbany, but they are threatening to pop off.
Pike fouls that one away.
And whether or not they manage to plate more in this frame, they have already made Ava Zettelmoyer throw 26 pitches, and the clock has been ticking on this inning. You can wear a defense down and keep their bats cold.
Can definitely be wearing on a pitcher. It's the 1-1 here to Pike, trying to help her own cause. Poole, such a great defensive catcher for the Black Bears, in particular throwing out would-be base runners. Almost threw that one down to the third base bag. This one finds the outside corner. Count even at 2-2. The Kennebunk native trying to help her own cause. A 2-2 count with 2 down, bases loaded. Just a piece of it, and get another piece of Poole behind home plate.
Julia Pike, we're going to see her in the circle today, hoping to bring her all and bring her best stuff to the diamond. But at the plate, she's one of 6 qualified Great Danes hitting over 300, and definitely a shoe-in for that all-rookie team. Absolutely earned her flowers this season. Meanwhile, behind the plate, Morgan Poole, one of the most hard-nosed, durable players in this conference. No stranger to taking foul balls in sensitive areas, but always finds a way to battle back and stay resilient. Very, very hard to replace her behind the plate defensively. If you're Maine, she's taken almost every rep back there for Kimberly Stiles' team this year.
She got hit in the head, too, yesterday with a ball hit right back into her face mask. Count now full after that one misses the zone. And for UAlbany, they can be off on the pitch. With the bases loaded, 2 down. A huge one here for Ava Zettelmoyer. And this one hit to left field, but right into the path of Maggie Helms. And the UAlbany Great Danes leave the bases loaded. They do get one to tie this game up as we head to the top of the second on the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championships. The American Softball Championship is presented by Jersey Mike's, a proud supporter of America's women's sports. Jersey Mike's, a sub above. Well, it's been a fun contest so far. We've only played 1 complete inning. Both teams putting 1 run across. UAlbany left the bases loaded. Maine, the number 5 seed of the 5 teams entering the tournament in 2026. UAlbany had higher aspirations as a 3 seed. UAlbany now trying to keep the Black Bears at bay as it's the 6, 7, 8 hitters in Hand, Shearer, and Helms. Swing and a miss. 1-1 here to Madison Hand. Pike out there for another inning of work. Swing and a miss there. Now 1-2.
Madison Hand, 1 for 8 in regular season action versus UAlbany. Kind of regardless of whoever the Great Danes sent into the circle, she just was not squaring the ball up in that series.
Pike's pitch, just a piece off the end of the bat by Hand. Pike Bears had 3 base runners in the top half of the first inning. Scoreboard only reads 1 base hit and a 2 and a walk, as Kira Inman scored on the RBI base hit by Guerrera. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. First K for Julia Pike, and 1 away in the top of the second inning.
A little bit of traffic in the first against Julia Pike. Her team lineup, including herself, does their job and ties the game up in the bottom of the first. And now Pike back in the circle, wants to deliver a lockdown inning.
Nice cut there for Shearer, making her first start of the tournament. Annika hitting .208 on the season, 2 home runs, 13 runs batted in, starting in right field for the Black Bears today, taking place of Abby Ree, who got the nod yesterday. Called strike 2.
Annika Shearer so hot out of the gate to open the season, earned a starting role for a lot of the season for Coach Kimberly Stiles, but since then has just been on an incredible slump. Hasn't had a hit since April 3rd.
And takes 3 pitches and a strikeout back to the first base dugout. Back-to-back Ks for Julia Pike, and 2 away in the top of the second inning.
The left fielder, number 6, Maggie Helm.
Almost feels like UAlbany had that wake-up call with the Black Bears scoring a run in the first inning, and now I'm starting to swing the momentum back in their favor, trying to get a 1-2-3 inning, but have to dispel a Maggie Helms, who's been red hot for Maine. These two teams actually met for a 3-game set last week right here at this Pierre and Catherine Labatt softball complex, and it was 3 wins, no losses for UAlbany versus Maine. Black Bears swept in that series, a dominating performance for UAlbany, and you thought they were playing their best softball at the right time. Just ran into a very scrappy and hungry UMass Lowell team yesterday.
First game of the regular season series between these two teams, 8-5 UAlbany victory in a game that was close, only really near the end.
This one fouled back and out of play.
Game 2 of that doubleheader set on May 1st, the bizarre 1-0 win for the Great Danes, in which Ava Zettelmoyer went a complete 7. Only surrendered 1, but was outdueled by Julia Pike, and Haley Arakello came in and slammed the door for the save.
The 0-2 pitch. That one misses, and off the glove of Sierra Roy.
The end cap of that series on Saturday, May 2nd, an 11-3 obliteration. UAlbany clicking on all cylinders offensively in that game. Want to repeat that success here on Tournament Thursday.
Yeah, if the Great Danes could have it their way, they would like to get this game done with as soon as possible. And if you're Maine, you'd like to do the same thing as well. But more importantly, you want to protect your home field. 2 years ago, another team celebrated a championship on their field. The Black Bears have some work to do to avoid that same similar scenario here in 2026. The 1-2 pitch upcoming to Maggie Helms by Julia Pike. Right back near us. Avoided that, though, thanks to the netting. That one, I think, would have hit you right in the face, John.
Perhaps.
Yeah, that was coming right through with a trajectory.
Crooked nose in the aftermath of that one, perhaps.
The wind continuing to blow in from center field right at home plate. Helms does not bite on that one outside. And the count will now be 2-2.
The patience still on display by Maine. Mentioned earlier, they take the most batting walks in the America East Conference, and Pike at 40 pitches. UAlbany a deep pitching staff, however.
This one hit high, but will stay in the park. as it drops into the mitt of Parisi. And a 1-2-3 inning for UAlbany defensively, and a strong performance in the second by Julia Pike for the Great Danes. As we step aside, come back with the home half when we return to the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+. The American Softball Championship is presented by Service Credit Union, the official credit union of the America East. Also, Northeast Delta Dental, a proud partner of the America East. And by V-Venue, the official ticketing partner of the America East. 1.5 complete, 1-1 our score. UAlbany, who had the bases loaded, and then a fly out to left field ended that. We'll now try to see if they can get things going into the second inning. It'll be the 8-9-1 hitters due up of Kahn, Beal, and Quinn, the UAlbany Great Danes.
6 qualified UAlbany hitters batting over 300. Casey Kahn, one of them. So adept at putting bat to ball. Great RBI weapon as well.
This will be trouble as it finds a gap in between the left and center fielder. A leadoff double for the number 8 hitter, Casey Kahn. Starting off the second inning, exactly how the Great Danes were hoping.
Casey Kahn, one of Chris Kanata's best options in terms of setting the table for the other Great Danes, and slugs her 6th double of the campaign right there. Her vision and her ability to swing through softballs is so valuable, and now 5 hits on the board for UAlbany.
Beal has that one go through the wickets of assistant coach Reardon. I think she's going to talk to him and just talk about the fundamentals of fielding his position in the third base coaching box.
Ava Beal, just 1 run batted in on the season, and Brian, you'll never guess which run she batted in.
What would that be?
That would be the lone run that UAlbany scored in their regular season 1-0 win over the Black Bears. So she picked a great spot to hit that first and so far only RBI of the season. Looking for a repeat performance in this very plate appearance.
So what you're saying is when she sees Maine on the script of the opposing jerseys, it usually works out well for her. One count after that one misses. Another cut through that one, but misses as the wade through makes it a 1-2 count. Good attendance here at the ballpark as the host team, the Black Bears, have the infield in now. No one fouled to the backstop. So our Maine men's basketball coach, assistant coach Rob O'Driscoll here earlier today. Field hockey coach Josette Babineau. also in attendance, among countless other University of Maine athletes trying to cheer on the University of Maine softball team to victory. Pitch to Beal. Slapped over the left side, now to play.
Ava Beal, we mentioned just the 1 RBI, 5 hits in 26 at-bats, but don't let her get on. 5 of 6 of stolen bases this year.
Swung on a miss. Huge strikeout there for Zettelmoyer. Her second so far of the outing, and the number 9 hitter is retired. 1 down, still Kahn at second base. Back to the top of the order, and Taylor Quinn.
One thing about Ava Zettelmoyer that the Black Bear fans love is the vibes are always high. She's so enthusiastic about every strikeout and loves celebrating with her team. Usually an ear-to-ear grin out there. Doesn't let herself get too low.
This one bounced in the turf. Quinn scored the lone run for UAlbany back in the first inning after leading off the contest offensively for the Great Danes with a double. Pitch from Zettelmoyer, missing inside and low. Wind continuing to blow in from center field. We're remarking, Jonah and I, that is, in between innings, that so unusual. This pitch misses high, 3-0. Barely any wind in game 1, and now a ferocious wind blowing in straight into the hitter for game 2.
Well, I'd say game 1 was probably the outlier. Most of the 365 days up here in this area, I have a lot of wind.
I haven't found a windier place before in the continental United States, I don't think. 4-pitch walk, and the right fielder Taylor Quinn heads down to first base with the second base runner of the inning for the Great Danes. First walk by Zettelmoyer. Now runner at first and second base for the Great Danes, and another dangerous player in the form of Sarah Anderson stepping up to the plate. Anderson also singled back in the first inning. Was thrown out on a forced play, 4-2, for the second out of the first inning.
If you have this game on in the background and you're at home absentmindedly scrolling on your phone, I would say lock in right now, because this is going to be a clutch moment in the game. Heart of the UAlbany order facing off against Ava Zettelmoyer, keeping him locked down.
Popped up, playable for Inman. Comes in, oh, and she drops it. Still a chance, she's going to throw to third, and they do get the force out. Well, that could have been catastrophic for the Black Bears, but they still are able to get Casey Kahn over at third base.
Ah, yes, the good old classic 8-5 force out, Brian, as Kira Inman, usually as sound as they come defensively in center field, had the read. Whoopsie-daisy. Couldn't put the squeeze on it. Picks it up. Fires to third. Great stretch by Neve Adams, and excellent recovery by Inman, who does not panic when disaster strikes.
Neve had to be basically a de facto first baseman, stretching over there, like we see Kaylin Larkin do for the majority of the game with the Black Bears. So you can breathe a sigh of relief if you're a Maine Black Bear fan. And Inman, good job keeping her cool and making that throw into third base, though. A little surprised she didn't go the shorter route back to second. It's Katie Parisi up at the plate, always dangerous. And that hit the knob of the bat.
Caught a piece of pool, too. I think the right hamstring. Got a kiss from that softball right there, and she'll spend a moment shaking that off.
Whenever the season's over for Morgan Poole, she deserves a nice long break. Even just for this tournament alone, she has dealt with a lot of batted balls, balls that bounce in the turf.
I see a prolonged ice bath in her future.
A warrior behind the plate for the Black Bears. And she's due up, coming up. This one grounded weakly down the first base line. Underhand, in time to throw down, home plate. And a nice sneaky move for Taylor Quinn with a go-ahead run for UAlbany.
This is chaos. I mean, let's take a look at this replay. Contested call at first base. That would have been the final force out of the inning. Guerrero had to charge in, flips it, and, Parisi should be safe if they take a look at that. And they threw home just in case. Taylor Quinn has the wheels, gets that left hand in, and I think if Chris Kanata and crew, with the experience and wisdom that they have as a coaching staff, if they decide to be aggressive and challenge this call, it will be overturned, and it will be the go-ahead run for UAlbany.
It's smart and heady play, too, to have Taylor Quinn continue to run around. The throw didn't need to be made, but smart to do so. Though you wonder if they might keep the runner at third base and not allow them to advance, too, on the play. But this will be reviewed regardless.
And I think the fact that Larkin turned and threw home is an indication that her thought was that the runner had been safe. So obviously that's not the end-all be-all in this situation, and I think we do have a challenge.
So the inning is not over yet, as we have our first replay review of the contest. We endured through 4 of them yesterday for Maine and Binghamton. Seems like anytime Maine plays, they have to have at least multiple reviews, and we'll take a look at it again. Zettelmoyer allowed Guerrero to come and pick that one up.
That's actually quite close. I mean, it would probably have to be a frame-by-frame kind of look there. The run here should score. That's not a force out if the out at first is not recorded. So Quinn sliding in safely for what could be the go-ahead run if they decide to reverse the call. And we say this for every replay review, but we'll say it again. The umpires are working with a different set of video angles. They cannot see ours. We cannot see theirs. So there is that element of mystique to it.
47 pitches already for Ava Zettelmoyer as we await the announcement of the review from the officiating crew. Coach Chris Kanata out there on the field right now, talking to her first baseman, Mary-Kate Murray. You see right there Sarah Anderson, and we'll check the replay once more. Looks like right there, she gets the foot down before the ball is firmly into the mitt. Kaylin Larkin.
And let's make one more thing clear. The umpires need conclusive, irrefutable video evidence to overturn the call. Otherwise, the call will stand and they will go with the same call on the field. It cannot be ambiguous at all.
Quick review as the officiating team of Thomas Oliver, Ethan Nagel, and Stan Abramovich out there. Our umpiring crews have been phenomenal. We'll get the official announcement here from Thomas Oliver.
It's an overturn and it's an RBI. Infield single, slow dribbler to second base, and we'll take one more look. Guerrero playing way back toward the green. Had to book it in toward that softball, and not quite enough heft behind that flip to second to get it there in time. And Katie Parisi, a 5-tool player, digging that one out, a hard 60, the speed on display. Runners on the corners, 2 outs.
Interesting to see they allow the runner to score too, which I think is the right call. Sometimes they allow that runner to go back to third base, because in that theory, the game would have stopped and that wouldn't have actually happened because of the out on the play. But I think truer to the actual game action is a go-ahead run for UAlbany. Now here's Mary-Kate Murray, already an RBI single in the contest, looking to make it 2. Called strike, 1-1 now the count. She singled in Taylor Quinn, who has also scored the second run. This one just outside. As the Black Bear fans down below were hoping that one would go in their favor. Two-one pitch. Snagged out of midair. Kaylin Larkin stealing that one away from extra base hits. But UAlbany does retake the lead. Throw 2 complete here in Orono. It's UAlbany 2, Maine 1 as we head to the third on the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+. About ready to start the second inning here from Orono. And what about this grab? Kaylin Larkin. A ball that was destined to go into the right field corner. Larkin snags out of midair and stops UAlbany from putting up more than the 1 run they did. 2-1 our score. 1 run scored from UAlbany in the first and second innings. The Black Bears with their lone run in the first inning. Morgan Poole, the 9-hitter, takes a strike. Poole, Larkin, and Adams due up for the Black Bears. 9-1-2 in the batting order. Nice cut by Poole, but empty on the contact. Wind shifting now from blowing straight in to now right to left. Hit back to the netting as Poole stays alive out there at the plate. Pike looking like she's getting stronger as the game progresses, too. After surrendering a couple base hits and a walk in the first inning. Has retired 3 straight Black Bears in the last inning. Right back up the middle, off the ankle and shin of Pike. Gathered up, and Sarah Anderson throws an absolute bullet over to first base to get Poole.
Everyone on their toes all the time in this UAlbany defense, so well coached, hard off the shin of Julia Pike, and she seems to be all right, but Sarah Anderson scampers in, collects the softball, and guns it across the diamond for out number 1.
So technically a 1-5-3 if you're scoring at home. Now here's Kaylin Larkin at the plate again. Popped out to second base, Casey Kahn. One of 2 players who popped out to Casey Kahn in the first inning. Pike seems to be okay. Well, that pitch missing a little high. You can see the statistics from Larkin. Really one of the best offensive options for the Black Bears and hitting leadoff. Called strike, even the count at 1-1. Pike's pitch, swung on and missed by Larkin. Down to the count 1-2. It looks like Pike has faced no ill effects from that ball hitting her shin just a moment ago by Morgan Poole. The 1-2 pitch. Now miss high and off the glove of Sierra Roy. The wind in the fire, swing and a miss, strike three. 3 strikeouts for Julia Pike as Larkin goes down now 0 for 2 on the afternoon.
Julia Pike manipulating these hitters' minds so effectively. Has them thinking one thing, delivers the thing that they're not expecting, forces adjustments, and one thing you'll notice with Pike in the circle is that no opposing hitter is really going to have a great read of her pitches.
Eve Adams back up the middle, fielded by Grayheck, fires over, the one-hop scooped efficiently and cleanly by Mary Kate Murray, and another 1-2-3 inning, the second consecutive for Pike and the Great Danes. So we head to the bottom of the third, 2-1, UAlbany on top on ESPN+.
At Northeast Delta Dental, we love to see people smile. And as the leading provider of quality dental coverage for Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, we're committed to helping entire communities smile. Whether it's through education, supporting our veterans, or giving and volunteering, we're helping to make our communities even stronger. Learn more about Northeast Delta Dental at nedelta.com. We think you'll find a lot to smile about.
Ground yourself in this moment. What do you smell? What do you hear? That's the sound of a juicy steak with 10 essential nutrients like protein, iron, and B vitamins to support your wellness journey. Now that's my kind of aromatherapy. The nutrition you need, the balance you crave. Together, we bring more. Beef.
At Jersey Mike's, they slice your order fresh right in front of you. And let me tell you, watching that can send a rush of emotions through a person. Excitement, baby-like wonder, anticipatory chewing, nervous pacing, happy claps, and finally, jealousy, because that's this guy's sub. I should order one. Good idea.
Get the Boardwalk Bundle, a number 2 sub, chips and a drink for $10.99. Available for a limited time.
It's a Jersey Mike's thing, a sub above.
Welcome back to the Pierre and Catherine Labatt Softball Complex for the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship, hosted by the University of Maine. A little colder here in Orono, located in the central part of the Pine Tree State.
Leading off for UAlbany.
Some of the students out here enjoying the nicer weather than we've seen in the last couple of months, playing some pickleball on the courts. Ava Zettelmoyer trying to get the side in from the first base dugout, as it'll be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for UAlbany, leading this one 2-1. First pitch missing inside. Deanna Grayheck had a single and was stranded at second base back in the first inning, in which the Great Danes had the bases loaded. Only pushed 1 run across in the inning. Single run in the second. This one, again, back at the top of the netting. Roy in the on-deck circle, then Julia Pike. Those are the 3 due up for the Great Danes, who have been on the precipice of making a very productive inning. A very crooked number on the scoreboard, but Maine's kept him at bay for the most part. Off the end of the bat, that will be a leadoff base hit. Grayheck rounds first base, and that'll be a leadoff single in the third consecutive inning that the Great Danes have led off the inning with a base hit.
You mentioned it, Brian. A lot of traffic on the base paths for the Great Danes. Only 2 runners across. 10 opportunities with runners on today. They're 4 for 10 against Ava Zettelmoyer, so they've kept the line moving, but not quite at that volcanic level of explosion yet.
You just feel like there's a moment of time before they have that one huge inning.
They are dormant and ready to erupt.
Well, the first inning, they had the bases loaded. Maine was able to get out of that one after the ball was hit off the bat of Julia Pike right at Maine's left fielder Maggie Helms. Last inning, another opportunity. This one right back up the middle. Kira Inman racing over to her left. Thought about the throw in as Grayheck was taking a pretty significant run off of first base, but she's back in time and no throw. So Roy is retired. Now here's Julia Pike back out there with still the runner in Grayheck at first base.
We've seen the gun on Inman multiple times already today. And Grayheck almost got a little too greedy, but got back to first in time.
Pike lined out to left field last time up. It was a hot shot, but Helms didn't have to move too much, and that was with the bases loaded to end the first inning with just one run across for the Great Danes. Now 1 out in the bottom of the third inning. The pitch from Zettelmoyer misses outside, got 2-0. Not sure if Zettelmoyer's dealing with maybe some mosquitoes or some other insects flying around there. She keeps waving in front of her face, and I don't believe that's a sign over to the dugout or not. Seems like she's dealing with something. Nonetheless, the 2-0 misses inside. Favorable hitter's count. We'll see if Pike gets the green light. She may have, but didn't swing the bat. It's called strike nonetheless. I've seen a couple times today a 3-0 count. A hitter's been given the green light. It's not resulted in a huge power blast yet, but we've seen some good offers. Another one, this time right at the knees. Zettelmoyer really honing in on the strike zone in the last two pitches.
Patience is good. You want to work a count, want to make a pitch or throw a lot of pitches, but you also don't want to let your pitch pass you by, Brian. Not sure if Julia Pike is going to get another one in her wheelhouse like that.
This one misses low. It's ball 4 nonetheless. So no stolen base and a little bit of extra added effort from Grayheck over to second base.
Little extra cardio for Grayheck this time, perhaps. Disciplined take by Pike, and letting those two called strikes go by didn't come back to bite her this time.
And for Grayheck, too, she would have had a stolen base on Morgan Poole, which is a feather in any base runner's cap.
Certainly.
Won't count statistically speaking, but mentally it's there. As now we see the number 8 hitter, Casey Kahn, had a double back in the second inning. Nice pitch right over the heart of the plate, buckling the knees of Kahn. Second baseman has been busy defensively. Hits it back over to her counterpart with the Maine Black Bears. Guerrero over to Larkin. Advanced both runners on the play, and the first out's recorded, or second out is recorded, I should say, in the third inning.
Off the end of the bat for Kahn. Good play by Guerrero to get the out. 2 ducks on the pond for Ava Beal. Can she send him swimming home happy?
Ava Beal getting the start here today. 2 runners in scoring position. Third baseman in Adams is in, knowing the threat of the bunt from Beal as the first pitch missing outside. Hitting under 200 for the season, and that lone RBI, as Jonah mentioned, was against the Black Bears. A great statistical pull from the man who called the game as well. Another one missing outside. There were some close games between these two teams back last week to close out the America East regular season. Outside the finale. And another one missing outside. First base is open. However, Taylor Quinn looming in the on-deck circle with 2 runs scored, a double and a walk.
2 runners in scoring position, 2 outs. Can't afford to walk the number 9 hitter on 4 pitches. Have to throw a strike here.
And she does. Beal has some speed, but was able to be struck out for the lone K so far for Zettelmoyer of the contest, or actually second K. Another one peppering the zone this time, and the count will be full. Runners can get an advantage, but could run into an out here too, with no force other than at home, other than at first. The payoff pitch with 2 down, fouled away.
Ava Beal, not the most fearsome hitter on paper, hitting 192, just the 1 RBI that came in that 1-0 victory. But so clutch, and anything she puts on the ground, she has the danger of being able to leg out. So Black Bear defense has to play on their toes.
Payoff pitch, another one fouled to the netting.
And if you're Chris Kanata and co., I mean, obviously you're dying to plate some runs here. You've scored in the first 2 innings, want to keep the pressure on and add that cushion while you can, but you have to be proud of the way these first 3 innings have gone, even though you're only up by 1. Ava Zettelmoyer already at 71 pitches, and you're set up well for the rest of the softball game.
Fouled down this time, the third base side and towards the UAlbany dugout. So we'll do it again after 3 straight 3-2 pitches fouled away. Zettelmoyer, the senior, trying to bear down and get this last strike through and complete the 3rd out. Lofted up in the air. That's going to be foul. Good chase by Maggie Helm. She didn't get there in time. But luckily for the Black Bears, it rolled foul. That 3-2. Snagged by Adams. The fire over in time. 5-3 on the putout. And the UAlbany Great Danes battle, but unable to get anything through this time again. 3 complete from Orono. It's Maine coming up on ESPN+.
Time at this year's softball championship, Northeast Delta Dental is honoring heroes from the local Maine community. Why is this an important aspect of the partnership with the America East?
As a business member of the Maine community, we welcome the opportunity to honor people that are making a true difference. A hero can be many things to people, but one thing they all have in common is the positive impact they are having in the community, and they deserve to be recognized.
First pitch missing to Kira Inman. A 2-1 game here from Orono, the host team on the wrong side of a 2-1 score favoring UAlbany. Loser of this game is the first team eliminated from the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship. There will be another elimination game immediately afterwards, as this is Elimination Thursday. Called strike 2. After today, there will be only one more true elimination game before the championship. 3 teams will remain once all is said and done this afternoon and evening. And then one final team will be eliminated in the second game tomorrow. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Bounced in front of Inman, even to the count at 2. We already know one of the 2 games slated for tomorrow. It'll be the Binghamton Bearcats taking on the UMass Lowell Riverhawks. Binghamton winning yesterday, 1-0 in the tournament. UMass Lowell 2-0 after upending Bryant. Towards the end of the bat, fouled away by Inman. Kira scored the lone run for the Black Bears back in the first inning. Reached base by a walk, later driven in by Guerrera. Two. Another one fouled off the right side and well out of play.
Well, if you're just tuning in, you see this one's 2-1. You think, hey, razor-thin matchup here. But important to keep in mind, 7 hits for the Great Danes with a couple of walks as well. Just 1 hit, 1 walk for the Black Bears. Really the tail of the tape so far has been situational hitting with runners on and runners in scoring position.
Another one right back to the netting. Inman with a nice battle versus the Maine native Pike in her 4th inning of work.
The Black Bears so far 1 of 2 with runners aboard, haven't stranded anybody. 7 Great Danes marooned on base through just 3 innings of this contest. They're 4 for 13 against Ava Zeddemore with runners on, which lets you know 2 things. 1, there's been a ton of traffic. 2nd, not a lot of success in those situations.
This one will go to the field of play. Shallow center field. Ranging back is going to be Grayheck. And also coming in a good distance is Beal. He's showing off the speed. She'll slide in near the Black Bear mouth on the logo in center field for the first out. Initially, Beal stepped backwards and had to not sprint, but a heavy jog inwards. And grabs that one on the slide with the one knee. As Robles steps up, had a base knock back in the first. And it looks like they might have ruled that actually not a base hit. I'll have to go back through and check. She did reach base back in the first. This will be a hit no matter what, as it bounces and 2 hops into the glove of Parisi. And it's a 1-out base hit for Eviana Robles.
Well, Robles has made contact twice now out of the cleanup spot, so she's adjusting to that place in the order really well. To answer your question, Brian, they ruled it a fielder's choice. After she grounded a ball up the middle. They flipped it to second and were unable to retire Kira Inman.
See, I always look at that as that still should be a hit, in my opinion. But I'll give Katie, the official scorer, the benefit of the doubt because she's much better than I am at judging and assessing. I always look at it from the hitter's perspective. I didn't get many hits back in the day, so I always wanted as many as possible.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, if you think about it, it was a ground ball up the middle to a middle infielder, and if there hadn't been a runner trying to go to second, probably a routine play to first.
The 1-0, that will miss low.
Speaking of new spots on the order, I mentioned earlier today, Francesca Guerrera, accustomed to that leadoff role. They think she's better suited to the 5 spot in this situation, and earlier she came through with a single and an RBI.
Another opportunity to get a base hit and potentially another run batted in. Favorable count. Throwback, not in time. So I thought maybe that Robles was taking a little too much of a secondary lead, but quickly back to the first base bag, and the count now 2-1 after that one called as a strike versus Guerrera.
So much hitting room up that third baseline right now, and Guerrera usually sprays him right up the middle, but if she can get ahead of one and pull it down that line, it could be extra bases and an RBI easily.
Instead, it's hit to Kahn. Throws over to second base. The turn, not in time. Perfectly executed as Kahn. Threw it over to Grayhack. Seemed to be in pretty good succession, but the speed of Guerrera beats out the throw to first.
Just so hard to execute a double play on field dimensions like this. Kahn with the textbook turn, Grayhack with the finish, but despite the stretch by Mary Kate Murray, the leadoff legs of Guerrera, now in the 5 spot today, but has the speed to hit leadoff. She was able to leg that one out and keep this inning alive for Madison Hand.
And the first pitch to Hand upcoming, who struck out in the second inning. Cuts through that one, and I think it got a piece. Well, it's going to be stolen base. Now they're going to try to figure out whether or not there was contact made. It was a hit and run shown. Got a little piece of our home plate umpire, Thomas Oliver.
Well, that's pretty bizarre. I guess no contact with the bat from Madison Hand on the pitch that was way up and in. The catcher, Sierra Roy, lost track of it. Guerrera easily into second. We'll see what the ruling is.
You can see how it was done because the wave at it does impact the catcher. See it again here.
Oh, I mean, did she not make contact there?
I think it glanced off the top of her glove. I think the swing also affected the catching ability.
They do declare it a stolen base as opposed to a wild pitch or pass ball. I think that is probably the right call, even though there was no chance to get Guerrera.
Catching, by the way, for UAlbany is Galen Kelly. She'll receive that one low with the count be 1-1.
That's right, Brian. Good catch there. They did make that defensive substitution earlier in the contest. It always is a little bit hard to keep track of everything, considering the range of possibilities. You can bring players in, you can pull them back out and have them re-enter.
Off the handle, lofts, no problem for Grayhack, who gets the third and final out. Well, Black Bears have some more base runners, but I am unable to push home another run. And after 3.5 from Orono, it's still UAlbany 2-1 over Maine on ESPN+.
No errors and one runner left on base.
Back to the top of the order for the UAlbany Great Danes, who lead this one by the slimmest of margins, a 2-1 game. Now, the Great Danes have had a multitude of opportunities, just unable to push more than the 2 runs across. Ava Zettelmoyer, now working into her fourth inning of work, has done a great job of keeping the Great Danes away from too much offensive production. For the first pitch here to Taylor Quinn, a called strike.
Top 5 of the UAlbany order all have reached base with a hit today. Deanna Grayheck in the 5 spot, 2 for 2. So
this one off the end of the bat. Hangs up for Maggie Helms. There will be a fly out to left field and one down in the fourth.
Zettelmoyer has seen some traffic and done a good job diffusing the bombs before they burst. But you have to wonder about the sustainability of this cycle. 7 hits, 2 walks. But again, UAlbany 4 for 13 with runners aboard.
Grounded towards the right side, fielded, thrown over. Guerrera to Larkin, 4-3. 2 quick outs in the bottom of the fourth. And that'll bring up Katie Parisi. Strikeout and an RBI single back in the second inning. As Quinn and Anderson retired for the first time today. Quinn was 1 for 1 with a walk as well. Anderson, a single, and reached base by way of a fielder's choice. Both those two retired off the base pass as Parisi. 1 for 2 with an RBI single, strikeout. Still waiting for the explosive Parisi game. Called strike, even the count at 1-1. Wind continuing to blow, slowing down a little bit. Off the end of the bat, couldn't backhand it, was Robles. It'll be a 2-out base hit for Parisi, who's known for the doubles, but will result in the 1 base here this time, and a chance at some offense here in the fourth.
Absolutely. The doubles are the calling card for Parisi. Tops in NCAA recently in 2 baggers, having set this conference single season record, of course, but really bat to ball is her MO no matter what. She's hit a number of home runs, but of course can spray a single anywhere in the ballpark at a moment's notice, and a 2-out rally has to get started somehow, and UAlbany wants to get that going here.
And this is the perfect person to have at the plate too. Mary Kate Murray, already an RBI single back in the first inning, and then was robbed, probably a couple more runs batted in, on an amazing play by Kaylin Larkin at first base, where she just snagged the ball from around ankle level out of midair for the third and final out. This will miss low to even the count at 1-1. A very vocal UAlbany bench on the third base side. So trying to coerce Murray and company into some runs. Right back up the middle. Fielded easily. Guerrera to Robles, and the inning is over. 4 complete in Orono, 2-1 in favor of UAlbany on the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+.
At Northeast Delta Dental, we love to see people smile. And as the leading provider of quality dental coverage for Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, we're committed to helping entire communities smile. Whether it's through education, supporting our veterans, or giving and volunteering, we're helping to make our communities even stronger. Learn more about Northeast Delta Dental at nedelta.com. We think you'll find a lot to smile about.
At Service Credit Union, we believe that your life is a story. And like most stories, every chapter brings something different. A new adventure, a new calling, a new hero, and even a new beginning. No matter what page you're on, we'll be with you. Service Credit Union.
At Jersey Mike's, they slice your order fresh right in front of you. And let me tell you, watching that can send a rush of emotions through a person. Excitement, baby-like wonder, anticipatory chewing, nervous pacing, happy claps, and finally, jealousy, because that's this guy's sub. I should order one. Good idea.
Get the Boardwalk Bundle, a number 2 sub, chips and a drink for $10.99. Available for a limited time.
It's a Jersey Mike's thing, a sub above.
To Kennedy Bird.
Welcome back to the Pierre and Catherine Labatt Softball Complex for the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship, hosted by the University of Maine. Brian Stackpole, Jonah Smith with you. And it'll be a pinch hitter for the Black Bears as Annika Shearer will check out, and Kennedy Burns will pinch hit for her, the lefty, trying to generate some offense for the Black Bears. You have to imagine for UAlbany, they want to try to ride Julia Pike for as long as possible. Keep some of their other pitchers' arms fresh for the game that they'll have to play right afterwards, should they be victorious.
I would say that's good intuition, Brian. Pitching innings are at a premium in come tournament time. You know, so many games in a single day, in a single week. And especially after we saw Haley Wizerak come out of the gate against UMass Lowell yesterday, pitch so dominant and leave the game with a shoulder impingement. Her throwing shoulder, she was favoring it after leaving that game.
Slashing that one down the third base side and foul is Burns. Well, the toughest things to do in softball or baseball is to come in cold off the bench and be a pinch hitter. And that's why Kate Hardy is so impressive. Both times she's come in a pinch hitting role, she's come up big with a 2-run base hit. Now Burns, with no one on, just trying to get on base for the Black Bears. Right at the third baseman, Anderson, who snags it. Cat-like reflexes for Sarah Anderson, and one away in the fifth.
Well, it's called the hot corner for a reason, and that rip was scorching off the bat of Kennedy Burns. Anderson up to the task, picked it clean out of the air, and one up, one down.
Now here's Maggie Helms, who was red hot yesterday versus the Bearcats, albeit in a losing effort. Cuts this one, top of the net. And quickly down to the count, 0-1. And Pike has settled down so nicely. And not that she had pitched poorly in the first inning, but did surrender the lone run of this outing. And then has just been very strong, not unhittable, but nearly unhittable. Bounces that one to the turf. The only hit she has allowed since the first inning was back last inning to Robles. No runner has gotten past second base so far against her outside the first inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Maggie Helms. Swing and a miss there. Helms flew out to left field in her prior at-bat to close out the second inning. In the on-deck circle is the catcher, Morgan Poole. Check swing, foul ball. Again, the wackiness of Orono, Maine. Almost looks like the wind is blowing out now. It had been blowing straight in. Now it looks like it shifted again. It's so hard to read those flags now. Nice pitch, but missing just a little low from Julia Pike. Just thought she maybe missed the grip on that one by just a little bit in the release. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Big strikeout. Make it 4 for the first-year righty.
They call that climbing the ladder, and you'll see why. Pitch after pitch, a skosh higher, and that time changed the eye level of Maggie Helms. No chance of making contact there.
Here's Morgan Poole, who was very unlucky back in the third inning. Hit the ball straight back, careened off the shin of Julia Pike, the pitcher, deflected over to the third baseman, and then a clean throw over. This time will just be an easy pop-up, no problem for Deanna Grayheck, and a 1-2-3 inning for Julia Pike and the UAlbany Great Danes. We head to the bottom of the fifth, still a narrow UAlbany 2-1 lead on the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+.
Leading off for UAlbany, the shortstop, Deanna Grayhead.
One hops the wall, and sliding into second base with a leadoff double is Deanna Grayheck.
Ambush on pitch number one of this half inning. Confident swing, and I think Grayheck thought that had a chance to go, but also digging all the way. Earned that extra base hit. And so much traffic on today for UAlbany. That's hit number 9, and they want to get another run across here, setting up her teammate very well, the left-handed catcher.
Yeah, at the plate for the first time here today is Galen Kelly. She'll take a bunt attempt shown, pulls back. You can take a big secondary lead if you're a Grayheck, because on the wheel rotation, there was no one covering second base. Carrera was running over to first base, and Robles was covering third. And the crash in from the corners, that was an attempt there, so the count will be 1-1 on Kelly.
So many moving pieces on that wheel rotation play, like you're saying, Brian. That second base bag mostly uncovered, but you do see Kira Inman taking a courtesy 6 or 7 jogging steps in towards second just in case.
Another bunt, another one missing high, and the bat pulled back in time this time.
Kennedy Burns stays in the game defensively in right field.
The bunt again offered, and again, not one that is fruitful.
Not likely to see another sacrifice attempt with 2 strikes, because to those uninitiated, a foul bunt with 2 strikes is strike 3.
That misses outside, and the count will be full. Last thing Zittlemoyer wants to do here is walk Kelly, especially after she was trying to sacrifice by way of a bunt. And that one will miss. So 2 runners on, still no one out. Kelly at first base now. Grayheck still in scoring position at second. As you see on the replay there, that was a little low around shin level. If you're looking at the flow of the game, UAlbany feels like it should have at least 4 runs by now. But kudos to Zettelmoyer and the Black Bear defense, and just some timely plays out in the field and some really good pitches have kept Maine in this contest to the tune of being down and trailing by just 1 run. I don't think Neve Adams was just working on the dance moves. I think that was correlated to something within the conversation in the circle. But the convo has broken up, and this is a big moment, and it's also a big moment for the pitcher today, Julia Pike. 0 for 1 today with a walk. She's working on an America East tournament victory and would like to get some insurance runs and can help herself out. First pitch swinging down the line, but just a little early was Pike.
Pike has had multiple opportunities with runners on today, including a bases loaded 2-out situation earlier, and hard line out to left field in that situation to defuse that one. UAlbany 4 of 14 with runners on.
Zettelmoyer getting the sign for the first base dugout. Here's the pitch. Popped up. Coming in, then ranging back towards the track. And on the track is Helms. Picks it up for the first out. Both runners, and Grayheck and also Kelly, have to retreat back to the bag. They thought that one might have gotten over the head of Helms initially.
Yeah, certainly some power behind that swing by Julia Pike. Zettelmoyer tried to tie her up, but those hands are too quick. Pulls them in, gets the barrel around quick. Got the meat of the bat on the ball there, but couldn't force it out, couldn't force it over the head of Helms, who's been solid in left all tournament long.
Here's the number 8 hitter and second baseman Casey Kahn. Take that pitch outside. Kahn had a double back in the second inning and grounded out to the second baseman, her Maine counterpart, and Guerrera back in the third. Nearing the century mark is Zettelmoyer. Has 2 misses the zone and a hitter's count for Casey Kahn.
The top 5 of the UAlbany order are 8 for 14 today. The bottom 4, just 1 for 8.
The reward for winning this game is to play another one, like a doubleheader that you normally would have on the weekend in conference play. And you have the number 1 seeded Bryant Bulldogs trying to avoid being a team that won the regular season being eliminated in 2 straight games. 4 straight missing the zone. Bases are loaded with the Great Danes as Kahn draws the walk. And now it's up to not Ava Beal, but it looks like it's going to be a pinch hitter potentially. Yeah, Charlotte Lahm is coming up there to pinch hit for Ava Beal.
Three hits and 19 at-bats this season for Lahm. 7 total bases as she has a double and a home run under her belt. So some pop in that small sample size, and has just 1 RBI. However, nowhere to put her. Ava Zettelmoyer is going to have to bring her best stuff to this plate appearance. Already nearing the century mark. Dangerous situation again for UAlbany, as it seems they've threatened in all 5 frames so far. Scratching across, 1 in the bottom of the first, 1 in the bottom of the second. They've been silent since then as far as the run column is concerned. Charlotte Lahm, pinch hitting in the 9 spot, wants to change that now.
First pitch peppered right at the bottom of the strike zone at the knees. From many dangerous opportunities the Great Danes have had, Maine being down by just 1 run is a testament in how they've been able to squirrel out of these situations. Swing and a miss. 0-2. 1 down. Bases loaded. Grayheck at third. Kelly at second. Kahn at first. Lahm at the plate. That one misses. It's really surprising how close Maine is in this contest from how dominating UAlbany has been. Just the timely hitting has not been there for the Great Danes. Fouled off the right side and will bounce up. And out of play towards the Maine bullpen today. And it looks like the Blackbears are going to be rolling with Zettelmeyer as long as possible. I have not seen any action in the bullpen at all.
I saw Reith up in the early innings, but since then, silence.
Off-speed pitch missing. 2-2 now the count. Infield in on the right side, not as much on the left side. It's the shortstop and third baseman playing right around the base path. Called strike 3. And Ava lets out a scream, knowing that she picked up a huge second out by way of the K.
Yeah, that second out, crucial if the Black Bears want to pull a Houdini act and get out of the bottom of the 5th unscathed.
Back to the top of the order. Here's Taylor Quinn. Bases loaded. She's reached base twice, one by way of a double, one by way of a walk. First pitch called a ball. Little Moyer not necessarily agreeing with the assessment.
Yeah,
from our home plate umpire.
She was befuddled. She doesn't know where that one missed, and it did look like it caught the plate to me, but obviously not the best vantage point up here.
Check swing. Held up, 2-0.
And Taylor Quinn, so disciplined. So disciplined, waits for her pitch, and just one of the most prolific contact hitters in this conference. And you want to get every strike you can on her.
She has scored the only 2 runs that UAlbany has. She'll take that pitch for a strike, though. Not a bad decision. You want Zettelmeyer to throw strikes consistently past you. Starts with the first one. Zettelmeyer gets the sign, comes set. The windup in the pitch. Just missing outside. And both the pitcher and catcher for the Black Bears, Zettelmeyer and Poole, a little frustrated with that call.
Not to be Captain Obvious, but this is a pitch that you have to execute on.
Very astute. Big one coming. Grounded down the line. No disrespect to Quinn, but I think I would have made Zettelmeyer throw a strike there. The capability and the caliber of the right fielder Quinn, you knew you could battle back in a full count. And that's exactly the situation now afforded. The 3-2 count, bases loaded, a 1-run game with 2 down. And a step off. Not the first time that's happened to Zettelmeyer.
Cacophony coming from the third base dugout right now. The Great Danes hooting and hollering. They're behind their teammate.
A huge 3-2 pitch. Down the line, and we'll do it again as it just trickles a few feet to the left side of the line.
And if you're just tuning in now, the bottom half of pretty much every inning has just been like this. 8 Great Danes stranded on base today. UAlbany 4 for 16 with runners on. They've had traffic in every inning. They have threatened every inning, just 2 runs across. Quiet since the second.
Maine 1 run on 2 hits. UAlbany 2 runs on 9 hits. Just exacerbate that point that Jonah just mentioned. The payoff pitch off the end of the bat, this time right side. Chantilly, over the first base coaching box, said you were just that off, that far off, while pinching her 2 fingers together.
7 pitch at-bats so far. I think we might see every type of foul ball from Taylor Quinn before this battle gets resolved.
That's how big this moment is. And also the pressure on Zettelmoyer not to have one miss the mark, especially with a good, keen batter's eye, like the one held by Taylor Quinn. Another one, this time early and rifled off the left side. The only thing Quinn's missing right here is one sent backwards up towards our vicinity. Is it multiple to the left, multiple to the right? And the wind now solidly blowing in, but not at a quick pace. A 110 pitches for Zettelmoyer. Popped up. Looks to be playable and is. Maine sneaks out of a bases-loaded jam as they leave 3 stranded as we head to the 6th. It's UAlbany 2, Maine 1 on the Northeast Delta Dental American East Softball Championship on ESPN+. Maine fans in attendance very excited that their Black Bears have stayed right in the thick of things, trailing by just 1 run as we head into the final 2 scheduled innings. Top of the order due up for the Black Bears, Larkin, Adams, and Inman. Maine's probably best chance to tie this game up or take the lead. Pike out there again for now her 6th inning of work. As it has been a duel between the first-year righty in Pike from Kennebunk, Maine, and the senior Ava Zettelmoyer for the Black Bears, who has tiptoed around some trouble. Two straight missing. That one just a little too low by Pike.
I can't overstate how bizarre this situation. It is crazy how things are transpiring on the diamond right now. UAlbany's so adept at driving in runs typically. They have left 11 on base. 4 for 17 with runners on.
This one high and tight.
And if you're Maine and if you're Kalen Larkin in this situation, you have your top 3 hitters up. This is your chance to make them pay. Successful Division I softball teams have to capitalize and execute. UAlbany hasn't so far, but Maine hasn't given them the punishment.
After missing 3 straight, the 4th hits the zone, a 3-1 count. Larkin today 0 for 2, a pop out to second base and a strikeout in the 1st and 3rd respectively. Here in the 6th, trying to change the fortunes. Hits this one out into right field, initially going back but coming in and making the play. And 1 out on the board. As Taylor Quinn comes down with that. And the wind has died down too, and sometimes these very good contact hits get lofted up in the air and just die. Right field has not been a power alley to that deep in the corner. Now the number 2 hitter, Neve Adams, stepping up to the plate, also with a pop out and a ground out today, 0 for 2. Takes one right over the heart of the plate for a strike.
Maine 1 hit and 1 walk in the first inning. Had a single in the fourth. No other base runners.
Yeah, Pike has been really, really effective. 3 1-2-3 innings, only the first and fourth. Did she allow any other base runners? This one popped up. A lot shallower than initially anticipated, but Ava Beal, who just re-entered the game defensively, comes out with the second out. Good contact here, maybe not as much as predecessor, Kaylin Larkin, but Maine's having some contact on this. Now Kira Inman, who does have the lone Maine run of the contest, a walk back in the first, later scored off the RBI base knock by Francesca Guerrera. That misses outside.
UAlbany yesterday against UMass Lowell faced Olivia DeCitas and were able to put a lot of runners on. 8 hits for the Great Danes, and they worked a couple walks in there too.
Check swing fouled away.
Just 1 walk actually for the Great Danes in yesterday's affair, but regardless, 9 base runners there, only able to push 1 across, and that allowed UMass Lowell to get the momentum, forge out that 8-1 advantage, and finish that way.
This one missing outside, 2-1.
We're seeing a repeat of the same tale for the Great Danes in the sense that, 9 hits, 4 walks. You leave 11 of your teammates on, but the pitching from Pike and the team defense has just been so immaculate that they still have the edge.
Popped up, looks to be playable. Murray underneath it. And she'll gather it up in another 1-2-3 inning for Julia Pike and the Great Danes as they look to get some insurance runs in the bottom of the 6th as you're watching the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+.
At Northeast Delta Dental, we love to see people smile. And as the leading provider of quality dental coverage for Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, we're committed to helping entire communities smile. Whether it's through education, supporting our veterans, or giving and volunteering, we're helping to make our communities even stronger. Learn more about Northeast Delta Dental at nedelta.com. We think you'll find a lot to smile about.
At the University at Albany, we see greatness in you. There's passion and purpose, a fierce curiosity, ready to blaze big ideas and tackle the tough questions. We see grit, drive, determination. The University at Albany is home for dreamers and achievers just like you. The world needs greatness, and you are one of the greats.
This is Maine. Wild, real, undeniably bold, with deep roots and endless horizons. From Acadia to Katahdin, from labs to lobster boats, this is where you push limits, explore new ideas, and discover your potential. So call it grit, call it pride, call it ingenuity. Whatever it is, you've got it. This is Maine. Claim your place.
A narrow 1-run game in the bottom of the 6th inning. UAlbany, who came into the tournament as the number 3 seed, trying to stave off the Black Bears, but would love to get some insurance runs. 9 hits, but only 2 runs to show for it, while the Black Bears have just 2 hits and have 1 run. And we'll have 1 more chance coming up next half inning. But the Great Danes would like to put up a crooked number and make it a lot more palatable to close out the Black Bears in the top of the 7th. Zettel Moyer has been a tap dancer today, tiptoeing around trouble. Did an excellent job here today, and the tournament in general. Even yesterday versus Binghamton did an admirable job. She actually started to come into a little bit of trouble versus the Bearcats a day ago. then got pulled. Allison Reith came in and struggled out there, and she actually came in relief of Allison Reith, so she closed out the game she started. And there was no out recorded, which is also a little unique, and I've never seen that before. I was talking with Ben Stockwell of the American East, and I said he mentioned it to me, and I said I couldn't recall seeing that before, and Ben also reiterated that. He said one bounces in the turf, 3-1. Because I've seen in softball a pitcher come back into the game in which they've started as applicable within the rules, but I've never seen the reliever not record a single out.
She did. Zettelmeyer did record all 21 outs, and Reith faced 6 or 7 batters. So you're right, bizarre.
Full count now. It's a gutty performance from Zettelmeyer, who's just trying to eke out another couple of outs without surrendering any more runs to give her chance a team to go ahead. This one lofted. It's going to bounce in front of Helms. It'll be a leadoff base hit, and Anderson is on first base. And this is what moments are made for in regards to Katie Parisi, one of the best players in the conference at just first year in the America East. The rookie of the year in the conference, trying to live up to that accolade she acquired back 2 days ago. First pitch called strike. Low half of the zone.
It's been a heavy torrent of traffic today. So many base runners, but not too much spillage into runs for UAlbany, as I've said time and time again. But the question is, when is the dam going to break for the Black Bears, or will it at all?
I can use this reference since we're in Stephen King country, but it's like Jack Torrance in The Shining. I think they're taking an axe to the door. They just haven't broken through yet.
Parisi wants to say, here's Katie.
We'll see if she can. I knew you were well-schooled, Jonah, but moving up to the potential. Right down the line. A laser beam, but just a tad early. My broadcast partner, Jonah Smith, a well-cultured young man. I, myself, Brian Stackpole. Maybe lesser than Jonah.
No. Come on.
Zettelmeyer looking. The rock and fire. Right back up the middle. Back-to-back base hits. It's going to be knocked down. Inman has a little trouble with it. They're going to send the runner home. And that is going to be a go-ahead run. Anderson, who was on her horse from the moment that ball was hit, scores all the way from first base, and it's going to be an RBI double for Katie Parisi, who is the double champion.
Katie Parisi is the queen of NCAA softball two-baggers. Kira Inman, so good defensively, picked that up, gunned it home. Maybe if she had gone for Eviana Robles, the cutoff, there would have been a chance that Robles could have turned and fired on the relay and gotten the runner this time. But Anderson had visions of scoring all the way from first, and Parisi doing what she does best with the extra base hits. And I think the curtain's going to fall on Ava Zettelmeyer's outstanding outing here today.
Yeah, hug watch here as Zettelmeyer will check out. We'll have the details on the new pitcher when we come back. 3-1 UAlbany on top on ESPN+. Mary Kate Murray stepping to the box. Takes the first pitch outside to the new pitcher, Hannah Hipwell, first-year player from New York. Making another appearance here in the Americas tournament. This one backhanded, thrown over. Robles in time, first out recorded. And more importantly, too, Parisi stays put at second base.
2 outings for Hipwell in the regular season against the UAlbany Great Danes. First one came on May 1st. 3 2/3, scoreless, 3 hits, 2 walks. The next day she came in, pitched 2 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, just 2 earned, however, 2 walks and a strikeout.
Drake had a double last inning. And they're stranded at third base. She is 3 for 3 today. 2 singles and a double. As the UAlbany shortstop has been swinging a very hot bat. One more base hit, and you have to imagine it would be 4-1 Great Danes. This one lofted, looks to be playable. Inman has it. Tagging back up, but will stay put at second base is Parisi. And somehow Maine now 1 out away from skating out of this inning again, though surrendering a run within shouting distance of the Great Danes in the top of the 7th.
That run could make the difference. Maine obviously just won on the scoreboard. They would have had to double their total to tie it. Now they need to triple it.
But not unsurmountable like we saw versus Binghamton, where you knew it was just such a tough task down by 7 runs late. 2 runs is something they can accomplish pretty easily. That's why UAlbany would love to take care of business. And Galen Kelly, who came in as a catcher halfway through the contest, hits it to the right side. No problem for Guerrera. Fires over. And while 1 run scores on an RBI base hit by Parisi, it's still a tight one as we head to the top of the 7th. UAlbany 3, Maine 1 on the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship on ESPN+.
The America East Conference would like to thank Game 1 Adidas.
Final chance for the Maine Black Bears as part of the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship, hosted by the Black Bears. A lot of fans clad in Maine colors trying to support their team on the cusp of being eliminated, being the first team out of the 2026 field. It is Robles, Guerrera, and Hand due up for the Black Bears, representing the 4, 5, and 6 spot of the batting order. Julia Pike out there for a 7th inning of work. 11 hits for the UAlbany Great Danes, but just 3 runs to show for it. Maine with 2 hits and 1 run. Popped up. Shallow center field. Could be trouble, but not for Deanna Grayheck, who backpedals a good distance and picks up a crucial first out.
Deanna Grayheck just has platinum glove talent out there at the shortstop position, and that's why she's such a mainstay for so long on this UAlbany roster. And there again. She knows the stakes. She knows how quick things can unravel in a 7th inning with 2 runs separating the teams, and so composed to track that one down.
Here comes Francesca Guerrera. First pitch, a called strike. And kudos to the first-year pitcher, Julia Pike, who initially we didn't even think was going to be pitching in the contest. Thought she might be the DP. Came out there and is working on a complete game. Just 2 hits allowed, barely a walk. She's been effective throughout this one. However, for just 1 walk so far today. 2 hits allowed. Fouled away. Count is 1-2. Guerrera, the second baseman for the Black Bears from Folsom, California, has been incredibly important for the Black Bears' success and their rebuild. Now hoping to build a comeback for the University of Maine side. Does not pull the trigger, does Guerrera, and gets the good news that it's going to be a 2-2 count. Wind blowing in from center field with a 2-2 count to Guerrera. Missing outside, and the count will be full. The one thing this game has not lacked for is drama and tense moments. The 3-2. Fouled off the right side. Again, what is on stake? If UAlbany can hold on to their 2-run lead, they'll have 40 minutes to get ready to take on the Bryant Bulldogs in another elimination game. The team that loses would be eliminated from the field. The payoff pitch to Francesca. Swing and a miss. A huge strikeout there for Pike. Strikeout number 5 for Julia Pike, the Maine native. Now it's Madison Hand trying to keep the Black Bears season alive. Pops this one up, foul territory, and will land safely on the turf.
Those 3 Great Dane defenders all running at it full bore. You know how enthusiastic they are to record this final out in advance. The Black Bears, their backs up against the wall. They need 2 runs before recording another out if they want to salvage this season.
This one missing outside, 1-1 the count. You can see how important this is to Pike, too, as she took a heavy breath before the windup and the pitch. Here's the 1-1. And it misses low. And while the chances for Maine are dwindling on each pitch, the flame has not extinguished to this point. Game-tying run in this scenario, currently sitting, or standing, I should say, in the on-deck circle. Maine needs a base runner, though. And now they're down to their last strike. A wave through by Maddie Hand. A 2-2 count, 2 down. And the player wearing 22 on her back at the plate. Hits this high in the air. Looks like it could be playable in the 3rd out and will be. Parisi underneath it. And the UAlbany Great Danes survive to play another game. A tough fought contest, but a 3-1 victory for UAlbany over Maine, as the Black Bears will be eliminated from the Northeast Delta Dental American Softball Championship.
In the meantime, we invite you to visit
Congratulations to the Great Danes. Julia Pike in the circle today brought her best stuff, completely disabled this Black Bear lineup, and Katie Parisi came through, had the go-ahead RBI, added a cushion there with another RBI double, and even though they did not capitalize on all their opportunities, UAlbany did just enough offensively to support their pitcher Pike and eke out this 2-run win to advance, and the emotion on the faces of these Black Bears is real, knowing their season and many of their careers have just come to an end.
And kudos to the Black Bears to keeping this game tight, even though they did surrender 11 base hits. Well, Jonah, it's time for you to determine your Jersey Mike sub-above player of the game. And some tough choices there. It's an interesting game, but who are you going to go with for the Jersey Mike sub-above player of the game?
Certainly some tough choices, some clutch RBI mixed in there across the UAlbany lineup, but today's Jersey Mike sub-above player of the game is going to be the pitcher, number 11, Julia Pike. The Pine Tree State native, hailing from Kennebunk, comes up north to the state's flagship university and puts a frown on the home fan faces, ending the season of the Black Bears with 7 complete 1-run innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, and that's why she is the player of the game.
Jersey Mike's is a proud supporter of America East women's sports. Jersey Mike's, a sub above. So 1 team out, 4 teams remaining. And after the next game, we will have 3 remaining. It is number 1 Bryant taking on number 3 UAlbany coming up in about 40 minutes from now. And another America East elimination game. But for right now, my broadcast partner Jonas Smith, Brian Sackville saying so long, where UAlbany picks up a 3-1 victory over Maine here at the Pierre and Catherine Labatt Softball Complex on ESPN+.